Welcome to Midlife Schmidlife, the online community for listeners who want to redefine the middle years and recreate their lives lived to the fullest. Join our host, Liz Applegate, as she interviews guests over the age of 40 who are turning their maybe somedays into today and going after their dreams. Let's get the party started. Hello, everyone. I'm Liz Applegate, multi-passionate life coach and now podcaster. Welcome to episode 1 of Midlife Schmidlife. Episode 1, I can't believe it. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so thankful that you're here joining me. On today's show, I have an interview with Rachel Moriarty of Rachel Moriarty Interiors. We'll discuss following your passions to take the entrepreneurial leap at midlife. You'll even get to share in a midlife moment of what was I talking about again? Because yes, even during a podcast interview, those things happen. This episode is full of laughter and fun, but also incredible bits of wisdom shared by Rachel. You can find more about this episode at midlifeschmidlife.com/Rachel. Head over, check it out, and while you're there, sign up for the 14-day Summer of Self-Love Challenge that kicks off June 20th. Now let's head over to the interview. Hello, everybody. I am here today with Rachel Moriarty. Rachel is San Diego born and bred, but has traveled the globe extensively. She is a home and personal style expert who spends her days at her design studio at home, working on design projects, blogging, and making sure that her Facebook and Instagram feeds are full of inspiring photos of interiors. Thank you so much for joining me, Rachel.
Thank you for having me, Liz.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so honored to have you be my actual first podcast. I told you I was going to say podcast. Yes, that's kind of hard to say, though.
It is.
So I'm so honored, and thank you so much. So I just gave a little brief introduction of you. Would you like to fill in the blanks? We'd love to learn more about you and what you're about and what lights you up.
Sure. So I am the owner of Rachel Moriarty Interiors, and it's an interior design firm. It's home-based, and I focus on, mine's a little bit different because I focus on where people are right now. So if I were to go into your house, Liz, I would start exactly with where you are in life, what you've acquired, and kind of take your whole story and what your thread and your through line is, and even where you want to go, where you see yourself going. And I tell your visual story in your home. So that's sort of like, I'm called an interior decorator, but I take a little bit more holistic, soulful approach to my designs.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish that you were in Texas. Of course, I'm not sure. I would look around my house and I would think, oh boy, I've got quite an interesting story to tell.
Yes. What is my story? We're always, this is the thing, we're always telling a story, right?
Right. And I love how you've to me, like, I think it would be scary to me thinking of having someone come in and try to decorate my house and then they would leave and I wouldn't feel like it was my house anymore.
Exactly. And that's why I start my design process with what you have. Because especially, I mean, this podcast is called Midlife Schmidlife.
Right.
And that is sort of where all of my clients are. And even heading into retirement, the more, some of the boomers. So, like I know I have stuff I've inherited that maybe wouldn't be like my personal taste, but I am not getting rid of it. I'm not getting rid of grandma's dining set, stuff that I've gotten on my travels, and nothing was like this well thought out plan. It was just, things I've acquired along the way. Mm-hmm. And it's taking that and making it, and you've seen, because we've done video conferences, you've seen my house.
Right.
It's pretty bright and eclectic.
Yes.
But it tells my story. So sometimes when I meet with people, they'll say, I'll ask them like, how do you want your house to feel? And they'll say, well, I want what you want. And I'm like, no, trust me, you don't want what I want. I'm like, I've got neon on retro 60s rock posters in my home and, very bohemian style. You do not want what I want. So it's, when I leave, their house looks just like them because that's where I started with their stuff. I don't come in and say, "Oh no, darling, that sofa won't work," So
yeah,
that's just not me. That's kind of old school, kind of an old school way of approaching it to me.
Right. And actually, having seen your house, I actually do want I do want what you want. You've actually inspired me because I realized how, again, I think like being in this different stage of my life, how, a lot of things have changed. Like I've noticed that I listen to different music now. I noticed that I dress differently than I did 10 years ago. And I hadn't really paid attention to my home decorating. And actually, I think it was just, I don't know, I think you had shared a video of your living room and how brightly colored it was and all the beautiful, like, pops of color accessories. And I looked around and I thought, wow, I am so over earth tones now.
Well, that's the thing. We evolve, we change. And it's not like, it's not a bad thing.
Right.
And so I think it's kind of fun that, my house, if you would have come in 2 years ago, didn't look anything like this. And the major pieces stay the same.
Right.
But it's, it just, as I've become more bohemian and creative, because now I'm not a banker, I'm a designer, my personal style has changed a lot.
Right.
And it's like it's like a chicken or the egg thing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that shift that you went through from being a banker to now making that jump and working from home and building your own business.
Yes. So, there's always a little bit of a trigger that happens when you make major changes like that, and mine was I call it a three-way trigger. So I ended up in an environment. It wasn't banking itself; it was the office that I ended up in was not great, not a great environment to be in.
Right.
Plus, I had a vision, a future me, and I'll just go into that really quick because it's going to sound really weird, but it's hysterical because it's true. So I wasn't happy in the environment I was in. So I was sort of thinking, well, what, when you kind of like, well, what are my choices? Well, I can go to a different office and I can try this, and I started looking around and I was like, I'm done here. There is nothing else. There's not another position in this entire company that is sparking me up. So what am I going to do? And it's tough when you're in a job and you're like, I don't want my boss's job or my boss's boss's job or his job or her job, And so it was really weird. And then I got this vision of future me, and it was so weird. It was me, and I'm probably in my 80s, and I've got this short, I've got a pixie cut anyway, but it was like completely gray, and I had this like really cool tunic, and you could tell I got it on some like some global travel. And I had this like chunky jewelry, silver jewelry. And I was in this artist community in Santa Fe, New Mexico, which I've never been. Don't even know if there's an artist community, but that was my vision. And so, and so I was like, I need to kind of close the gap between where I am and this vision. I may not get there, but I need to get a little closer to that girl.
Right.
So I had done a really, one of those prayers where it's not just like a light prayer. It was like that raw prayer, like, please hear me.
Right.
And the prayer was that I wanted to start bringing the design back into my life. But because I was working in banking and had a great salary, I wanted to do it more like as a service. I wanted to find people who needed it, who could benefit from it. And Liz, I kid you not, the next day my phone rang and I got a call from a church.
Wow.
I am not even kidding. And it was this, and I do residential design, so this is even funnier. So I got a call from this little church, and it was in this California mission, late 1800s building. The building was amazing. And they wanted to take this room that used to be occupied by nuns and turn it into a nursery for kids because they wanted to attract, it was like in this young, hip neighborhood, and they wanted to kind of bring those people in and, wanted me to come in and do that for them. So that was my first job, and I just knew I was on the right path.
Yes. That's a pretty clear sign right there, I would think. Yeah. Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that story. I love that story.
Yes.
So obviously you were working at the bank full time, but then you were doing your interior on the side. Was that something you were, had been doing on the side, or how?
No, I just started. It was that thing where I just started. I had to, and after that, the jobs just kept coming.
That's amazing.
And it was that, I did that for about a year, but I did, a whole house renovation for a client. And I think I did 16 projects that year, working full time, which is a lot.
So you were working at the bank full time?
So I was working at the bank full time.
Oh, wow.
And I did on the side, I did 16 room projects and a whole house gut for a client. So, it was really, really wild.
Yeah.
And I luckily had a super supportive family. They knew I just wasn't doing it to, have fun.
Right.
It wasn't like a hobby. I was definitely trying to grow my business intentionally.
Right. Because you have children as well.
I do.
Yes.
And so that was the thing. I couldn't, in another, maybe season of my life, I might have just been able to just quit and, try to grow it, but I wasn't able to do that. So I actually considered myself a slasher. I was a banker / designer.
I love that. / mom, or it should be mom / banker /
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So that was my approach. I was like, I guess I'm a slasher.
I love that. I really love that. So if you don't mind me asking, because this is Midlife Schmidlife, and the definition of midlife, it's just really kind of depends on where you put yourself. But how old were you when you made the jump to full time on your own?
So I just celebrated my 1 year on May 1st. I'm 46 now, so I was 45.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Year. It's amazing how much we learn in a year, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. And I'm just one of those people I'm just not ever really attached to the outcome. So I just find the best opportunities, and, just like we were talking about, our homes or our style evolves, so does your business.
Right.
So that's just been fun to follow that.
Right.
See where it becomes its own thing. And so I'm just taking its lead at this point.
So you talked about the future me and having that vision. What do you think she wants of you now? I'm just curious if you've thought of that.
This is the funny thing. So as I was talking about how I thought I was leaving the bank to start an interior design business, it's kind of turning into something else. So at 45, it's one of those things. It's not easy to be the face of your business. Or to go, I didn't even think about it, because when I had my design business 10 years ago, there wasn't really I think I had a holding place on the website sort of thing, like a brochure, but there wasn't social media and all that. And so it was just a completely different environment. And that's how I found Monica Kiyosaki, and having to sort of put yourself in front of your work.
Right.
So that was a whole process. But as I did that, sort of my audience or my followers started asking me about personal style, which is interesting because my first love was fashion, and design evolved out of that.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was a photo stylist and a visual merchandiser, and I used to have a boutique, and I had a line of children's clothing. So it's been a long time, but it's funny how this journey has taken me full circle back into fashion.
Right.
So I think she wants me to it's almost the same thing I do with homes. I believe that your clothing, you can do the same thing with your personal style.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I came home from my banking job, the first thing I did was empty out my closet of corporate clothing,
Yeah.
and I donated it. And the same charity shop I took that stuff to is where I started buying my clothes. And so, because I didn't have a day job anymore,
Right, right.
so I had to slowly build my wardrobe up again, and she's who is sort of in my mind as I'm acquiring
Right. I
pieces.
cannot, I mean, you just have such a you just radiate the style about you. I cannot even
Oh, thank
picture
you.
you in corporate clothes. Like, it's like one of those two pictures that just don't match. It just is so
Oh my
funny.
gosh. Well, so the day that I actually quit my job, I remember the whole morning went in slow motion. I'd gotten out of my car. I was in the corporate clothes. I worked in a downtown rise. I was in the elevator, and it was like a zombie
Right.
apocalypse. It was like everybody needed coffee. Everyone looked miserable. Just everything just seemed so amplified that morning,
Right.
including myself in these corporate banking clothes. And so that's when I knew I came home and I was like, these got to go. I have no intention of ever putting these on again.
So yeah, let's talk about how you got started. I mean, I know you said you had a design business before and then so obviously you said you have kind of come full circle. So
I
yeah,
have.
so what was this your first love like out of school and, tell
I
me a little
think
bit
it
about
was my first love out of the womb.
Yes, yes.
I was the girl who, you probably remember this because we're about the same age.
Mhm.
The Oak Entertainment Center,
Yes.
in our homes. I would take that thing. I would empty, like, once a week. I would redesign my mom's Oak
Right.
Entertainment Center in the home, and she was so awesome with me. And my room was in crazy colors all the time. I was always repainting. I was always
Mhm.
restyling. So that is literally where I started my design career, in my mom's
So
home.
what led you away from that and then into the banking world?
So it was about 2007. Yeah, it was 2007, and it was a divorce.
Mm.
And I was working at a design showroom at that time. And when you work at a showroom, you have to work on nights and weekends when your clients are available.
Right.
And as a single mom, that doesn't really work.
Mhm.
So all of a sudden, 9 to 5 and 401k and direct deposit was looking real good. So
Exactly. Yeah.
that's what I did. And I was just having this conversation with my husband. I had no idea it was going to take me 8 years to get back, though.
Mhm.
I think I would have been really discouraged if I would have known
Right.
that going in.
There's benefits to not knowing what the future is,
Exactly.
right? Yeah,
Exactly.
and I think that that's such a common story too, where divorce I don't want to just generalize by saying, specifically women, but I do think that it is kind of a shakeup of your world,
Yeah.
both sometimes positive and both sometimes, I don't want to say negative either, because obviously you made a choice to take care of your family and, I mean,
Hmm.
that was a choice that you made, but
It really wasn't. I mean, I would honestly do it all over again, because the first part of my life was very creative, and I didn't have the business sense.
wow.
So when I got into banking, I got into private banking, and I was working with really high net worth individuals and businesses.
Mhm.
And I got to watch them move money around. And I got to, it was such an eye opener for me. I'm also one of those people who thinks in threads. And what made me really successful as a banker wasn't that I was the best banker, it was me and my relationship with them. So working in someone's home is super intimate. You have to,
Right.
like you said, having someone come in and, some people might think I come in to judge. I don't. I come in to help, but I get it. It's still a super intimate space. And it's the same thing with money.
Right.
And so it was a great experience for me working with, millions and millions of dollars, number one, and getting that business, that really good business sense, because I'm working with people's money. And when I do a whole house, renovation, we're talking about almost, could be almost $100,000.
Right.
And so, my Excel sheets are on point now,
Right.
which they really weren't. I mean, I'll admit it. That side of me wasn't strong. So I would do it all over again, because I know it, it really has just made me a bit better business owner, completely well-rounded business owner.
Right. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love because I think some people could look at that time in their life and just think that it was a waste of time, or that it was, they could put a negative spin on it. And I love how you've been able to really see how it's been this place where you were able to bloom this one part of yourself so that you could step forward and just kind of encapsulate everything about you. And that's part of the experience.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
So tell me what was your reaction from your family and friends, like when you told them, okay, I'm going out on my own?
Super supportive, super just happy to see me hop back in my natural lane. And definitely not surprised. Right. No surprises with me. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm so multi-passionate that kind of nothing I do surprises anybody. Like I think I told you I moved to Dubai. I did that in a matter of like 3 weeks.
Wow.
It was so I kind of just do these things. I get these, I can't anymore because of the kids, but I used to be pretty hedonistic.
But you know something? I mean, here's the thing. Like, I think sometimes, like, I wish that I could say that I was like that when I was younger.
Right.
I feel like I'm developing that more now as I've gotten older, and it has allowed myself. It's like I've allowed myself to explore that part of myself, and so
yes, you've given yourself permission.
Exactly. So I just love that you kind of always felt like you had that permission.
Right.
Just the opportunities. I can't even imagine deciding, okay, I'm moving to Dubai, and 3 weeks later I'm getting off a plane in Dubai.
Yes. Yeah. The aftermath is not always as fun as it seems, but
Probably not.
Luckily, I'm an optimist, so I somehow the journey sometimes isn't fun, but when you look, it's almost like birthing a baby.
Right.
It's like, no, that wasn't fun, but look at what's come out of it.
And it's like we forget about the birthing experience, right? Yes. It's funny how that just disappears.
Absolutely.
So is there anything that you wished you would have done differently, though?
Yeah. Yes. I wish I would have done it sooner. I wish, there were many opportunities where I could have taken that leap sooner, but didn't. Right. And I waited so long that the universe sort of took care of it by putting me in an office that was a really toxic environment. And I could, so I didn't have to go there. So, yeah, that would be my only thing is, and that was fear. That was fear.
My next question was why do you think, that was?
Yeah, it was definite fear. But it's so funny because once you do that, and this isn't, I'm married now and I have a husband that has a job and we are we need our 2 incomes. But, right. When you have one steady income, it does sort of, allow you a little bit more freedom. So right. I'm not saying just quit, everybody go quit your job, Yeah. So, Now I have a feeling your Midlife Schmidlife podcast is going to be full of these little drop thoughts.
Little senior moments. I don't think I'm ready to call them senior moments.
No.
Yet. We'll call them midlife moments.
Midlife moments sounds so much better.
Yeah,
oh
let's call
my
them
gosh.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, oh, what was I talking about?
What was I talking about? Oh my gosh, I do this all the time. I was sort of praying I wasn't going to do it on the podcast.
It's fine. I actually love it. I love it. Yeah, we were just talking about what you would have done differently, and it just was.
Yeah. So I would have left sooner.
Oh, I know what it was. The thread was once you've done it, like once you've made the decision.
Oh, yeah. Once you do it, it's so wild how easy it is to do the next scary thing.
Isn't that the truth?
It's so easy. And now, even when I get locked up about anything, like even, raising my hand to be on a podcast or, something like that,
right.
All I have to do is hit my journal and start writing, I'm the kind of person that does scary things. I'm the kind of, and so it's just, tiny little tools that you learn where before it just seemed like such a big, scary thing. And now it's like, no, I can get myself through this. Hold on, So yeah, that's gotten a lot easier.
Yeah, it is that first step. That first step is just,
it's a doozy.
It's a doozy. It's so true. It's so true. Yes. And I really can relate to looking back and thinking, gosh, why did I wait so long? Why? And it was out of fear. It's so different. It is so different when it's just you and you're making these decisions, when you have a family and you're trying to provide the security, and then I don't know, that just adds a whole other layer.
It does.
I don't think people understand until they have that.
And it could be a good layer, like at the same time, like it keeps your hustle on.
Exactly.
It's like I don't, every day I have to do something because, how am I going to pay the mortgage or, whatever. So, it can be a good and a bad.
So true. So true. So what do you think, in stepping out and reclaiming this part of you, what has been the best experience that you've had from this whole thing?
The best experience has been just being open and seeing what happens. A lot of times I will literally just, you can kind of get like stuck in that I'm going to sit home and be on my laptop because everything's super comfy. Mm-hmm. But I always say, some days I'll just throw on my red lipstick and go out of the house.
Love it. Yeah.
And I have the funniest chance meetings that happen. And those chance meetings this past year have turned into some fun opportunities. So I think that's going to be just my new approach is, mm-hmm. throw on your red lipstick and get out of the house, Rachel.
That's a great motto.
Yes.
That is.
So what's evolved out of that is I'm doing pop-up shops now, which is my family and I love to do estate sales and flea markets on the weekend, even my 6-year-old daughter. So I've sort of taken that passion. I love reimagining, like repainting and repurposing and all that. That's been something I've done forever. And so I've been doing that at my pop-up shops. So that's been something that happened out of getting lipstick on. I actually met a designer that I'm teaming up with on one of those days, and I actually got the location on one of those days. So it was just, so I'm just sort of seeing what's going on.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So random question. What's your favorite brand of red lipstick?
Oh my gosh. This is embarrassing.
No. Because sometimes
I have the cheapest red. I think I probably paid like 99 cents for it.
Yeah.
At one of these like mall stores that, I don't know. I don't even know how I'm going to find it because it literally is my favorite red lipstick. Right, and I'm probably going to have to buy like a $30 tube now to replace it.
Yeah. Darn, I was hoping you would tell me like this magical, because I'm having such a hard time finding a red now that I love. So.
Oh my God, red is so hard.
Stays on, so I don't know. It's just these things as we get a little older that just don't work the same way.
Exactly.
Right. So what is some, if you were talking to somebody right now who is 45, had kids, whether it was whether they wanted to start their own business or, I don't know, travel to Italy or, live in a tiny home, whatever it is that they just are having this burning passion to do, what would be some advice you would give them?
So I would say start now in any way you can do it. So for me, I'm not in the season in life because obviously I'm growing my business right now, but I want to go back to traveling a lot. So kind of what I do now is find things that represent that for me. So if, I want to go to Paris, I find this little cafe with I'll do my Paris days where I go to the museum and I have this cup of espresso at this outside cafe and I create my own Paris experience for me here.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like what I did with my job. It's, I started in my home. So I went to Home Goods and I bought all this stuff and I took everything out and I started styling it and I started photographing it. And that was the first stuff that I started showing on my website and on social media.
Right.
So start, if you want to write a novel, just write.
Right.
So that's, start in any way. Just think a little bit out of the box, get creative, and you'll attract it, but you got to start. You got to just start.
Okay, so we're going to try something out a little bit, and I'm not quite sure if we're going to stick with it, but you're my my first digital hot flash.
Okay.
Are you ready? So
I'm ready.
Actually, they're not so long, so you can be as quick or as short, as long as you'd like.
Sure.
Okay. So what's the best character trait that made this possible for you?
Curiosity.
You can't go a day without?
Podcasts.
Love that answer. You are most grateful for?
Oh, geez. This is not a one-word answer.
That's okay.
Of course, my family and my gifts and talents.
Gotcha. So what go-to product, app, must have that helped make this possible for you?
Product or app? I have to tell you, it gets a bad rap, but social media.
Yeah.
Social media. If it wasn't for social media, no one would know I'm sitting here in my living room behind my laptop.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it can get a bad rap, but there are positives to it for sure.
Yes.
So what's a quote, mantra, verse, or song that resonates with you?
Don't quit your daydream.
Ah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you survived a digital hot flash.
Great questions.
Yeah. Well, Rachel, I can't believe the time has flown by so fast.
I know. I could talk to you for like hours and hours.
So where can people find you online so that you don't have to be alone?
Yes. Come find me, please.
Yes.
I'm at Rachel M as in Mary, interiors.com. And I do work. I work locally with clients, and I'm one of those weird people that does not have to be in someone's home to design it. One of my most popular services is e-design. So I virtually design spaces. I work with people all over the country and even into Mexico. So yeah, you can find out about my services and my experience and everything there. Or, of course, you can always Google me and find me on all the places. So Rachel Moriarty.
Yes, and that's Moriarty, and I will have that in the show notes. Well, I thank you so much, Rachel, for joining me, and it was great talking to you, and I love your energy and sharing your advice and your positivity, and it's just been great. And
thank you, Liz. It's been so much fun.
Yes, and I'm going to get brave one of these days and have you help me with my design.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Okay.
I hope that you enjoyed the interview with Rachel and could tell how much fun we were having. I really want to thank her for being my very first podcast guest. There were so many beautiful insights that Rachel had to offer. I hope that you picked up on her readiness to share how fear had kept her from leaving her corporate banking job. Fear is a normal response for us all in uncertain situations, but fear can keep you stuck. You will never wake up one morning without fear in making the changes that you want to make. Being fearless is a myth. Celebrities, athletes, creators of movements and businesses all feel fear. They just decide that their missions and passions are greater than the fear itself. The key is to recognize fear in action. Fear can show up as inner critic conversations, who I call the inner meanie, or even in the form of procrastination, overanalyzing, overplanning, overstrategizing. I've been there. But recognize that these are signs of fear at play. Believe me, I even had fear when I thought, hey, let's start a podcast. So I'm curious how you are experiencing fear, how it's showing up for you, and what it's keeping you from moving forward on. Head on over to midlifeschmidlife.com/Rachel. Get the links where you can connect with her online. Thank her for such a fun interview and let me know how fear is showing up in your life. Join me next week when I interview Pearl Klein, who has some exciting theatrical performances planned. One in general is in celebration of her upcoming 50th birthday. You don't want to miss this interview. She's an inspiration for us all to be who we are, show up fully, and share our gifts with the world. Like what you're hearing on Midlife Schmidlife? Head on over to iTunes, hit subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and be sure to share with your family and friends. I'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for joining Liz for the Midlife Schmidlife podcast. Remember, some days are never on your calendar until you put them there. Until next time.